Good evening. It is Thursday, April 16th. This is Mrs. Bloom reading Artemis Fowl by Eoin Colfer. We just finished chapter 8, in which Holly Short and Butler seem to work together to get rid of the big, nasty troll. Who knew? And so we are going to be starting with chapter 9, Ace in a Hole. Artemis tried the doorknob and got a scorched palm for his trouble. Sealed. The fairy must have blasted it with her weapon. Very astute. One less variable in the equation. It was exactly what he himself would have done. Artemis did not waste any time attempting to force open the door. It was reinforced steel, and he was 12. He didn't have to be a genius to figure it out, even though he was. Instead, the foul heir apparent crossed to the monitor wall and followed the developments from there. He knew immediately what the Lep were up to. Send in the troll to secure a cry for help, interpret it as an invitation, and the next thing you know, a brigade of goblin stormtroopers were taking over the manor. Clever and unanticipated. It was the second time he'd underestimated his opponents. One way or another, there wouldn't be a third. As the drama below unfolded on the monitors, Artemis' emotions jumped from terror to pride. Butler had done it, defeated the troll, and without a single plea for aid passing his lips. Watching the display, Artemis appreciated fully, perhaps for the first time, the service provided by the Butler family. Artemis activated the tri-band radio, broadcasting on revolving frequencies. "Commander Root, you are monitoring all channels, I presume?" For a few moments, nothing but white noise emanated from the micro speakers. Then Artemis heard the sharp click of a mic button.
"I hear you, human. What can I do for you?"
"Is that the commander?" A noise filtered through the blank gauze. It sounded like a whinny.
"No, this is not the commander. This is Foley, the centaur.
Is this the kidnapping low-life human?" It took Artemis a moment to process the fact that he'd been insulted. "Mr. Foley, you've obviously not studied your psych text. It is not wise to antagonize the hostage-taker. I may be unstable."
"Maybe unstable? There's no maybe about it. Not that it matters. Soon you'll be no more than a cloud of radioactive molecules."
Artemis chuckled. "That's where you are mistaken, my quadruped friend. By the time that bio-bomb is detonated, I will be long gone from this time stop." It was Foley's turn to chuckle.
"You're bluffing, human. If there was a way to escape the field, I would have found it. I think you're talking through your—"
Thankfully, it was at that moment Root took over the microphone.
"Fowl, this is Commander Root. What do you want?"
"I would just like to inform you, Commander, that in spite of your attempted betrayal, I am still willing to negotiate."
"Troll had nothing to do with me," protested Root. "It was done against my wishes."
"Well, the fact that it was done, and by the Lep, whatever trust we had was gone. So here's my ultimatum. You have 30 minutes to send in the gold, or else I will refuse to release Captain Short. Furthermore, I will not take her with me when I leave the time field, leaving her to be disintegrated by the biobomb."
"Don't be a fool, human. You're deluding yourself. Mud technology is aeons behind ours. There's no way to escape the time field."
Artemis leaned close into the mic, smiling his wolfish smile. "There's only one way to find out, Root. Are you willing to bet Captain Short's life on your hunch?" Root hesitated. It was highlighted by the hiss of interference. His reply, when it came, was tinged with just the right note of defeat.
"No," he sighed. "I am not. You'll have your gold, Fowl. A ton. 24 carat.
Artemis smirked. "Quite the actor, our Commander Root." 30 minutes, Commander. Count the seconds if your clock stopped. I'm waiting, but not for long." Artemis terminated the contact, settling back into the swivel chair. It would seem as though the bait had been taken. No doubt the Lep analysts had discovered his accidental invitation. The fairies would pay up because they believed the gold would be theirs again as soon as he was dead, vaporized by the biobomb, which, of course, he wouldn't be, in theory. Butler put 3 rounds into the door frame. The door itself was steel and would have set the Devastator slugs ricocheting straight back at him, but the frame was the original porous stone used to build the manor. It crumbled like chalk. A very basic security flaw, and one that would have to be remedied once this business was over. Master Artemis was waiting calmly in his chair by the monitor bank. "Nice work, Butler."
"Thank you, Artemis. We were in trouble for a moment there. If it hadn't been for the captain—"
Artemis nodded. "I saw, yes. Healing, one of the fairy arts. I wonder why she did it." "I wonder, too," said Butler softly. "We certainly didn't deserve it." Artemis glanced up sharply. Keep the faith, old friend. The end is in sight. Butler nodded. He even attempted a smile, but even though there were plenty of teeth in the grin, there was no heart. In less than an hour, Captain Short will be back with her people. We will have sufficient funds to relaunch some of our more tasteful enterprises. I know, it's just... Artemis didn't have to ask. He knew exactly what Butler was feeling. The fairy had saved both their lives, and yet he insisted on holding her to ransom. To a man of honor like Butler, this was almost more than he could bear. The negotiations are over. One way or another, she will be returned to her kind. No harm will befall Captain Short. You have my word. And Juliet? Yes? Is there a danger to my sister? No, no danger. The fairies are just going to give us this gold and walk away. Artemis snorted gently. Not exactly. They're going to biobomb Fowl Manor the second Captain Short is clear. Butler took a breath to speak, but hesitated. Obviously there was more to the plan. Master Fowl would tell him when he needed to know. So instead of quizzing his employer, he made a simple statement. I trust you, Artemis. Yes, replied the boy, the weight of that trust etched on his brow. I know. Cudgeon was doing what politicians did best, trying to duck responsibility. Your officer helped the humans, he blurted, mustering as much indignation as possible. The entire operation was proceeding exactly as planned until your female attacked our deputy. Deputy? Chortled Foley. Now, a troll's a deputy? Yes, he is, and that human made mincemeat of him. This entire situation could be wrapped up if it wasn't for your department's incompetence. Ordinarily, Root would have blown his top at this point, but he knew that Cudgeon was grasping at straws, desperately trying to save his career, so the commander just smiled. Hey, Foley. Yes, Commander? Did we get the troll assault on disc? The center heaved a dramatic sigh. No, sir, we ran just out of disc space before the troll went in. What a pity. Yeah, a real shame. Those discs could have been real invaluable to Acting Commander Cudgeon at his hearing. Cudgeon's cool went out the window. Give me those discs, Julius. I know they're in there. This is blatant obstruction. You're the only one guilty of obstruction around here, Cudgeon, using this affair to further your career. Cudgeon's face took on a hue to match Root's own. The situation was slipping away from him, and he knew it. Even Chick's Verbal and the other sprites were siding out from behind their leader. I am still charged here, Julius, so hand over those discs, or I will have you detained. Oh, really? You and whose army? For a second, Cudgeon's face glowed with the old pomposity. It evaporated the moment he noticed the conspicuous lack of officers at his shoulders. That's right, snickered Foley. You ain't acting commander anymore. The call came through from below. You've got an appointment with the council, and I don't think they're going to offer you a seat. It was probably Foley's grin that drove Cudgeon over the edge. Give me those discs! He roared, pinning Foley to the operations shuttle. Root was tempted to let them wrestle for a while, but now wasn't the time to indulge himself. Naughty, naughty, he said, pointing his index finger at Cudgeon. No one beats Foley but me. Foley paled. Careful with that finger. You're still wearing the... Root's thumb accidentally brushed his knuckle, opening the gas valve. The release gas propelled a tranquilized dart through the latex fingertip and straight into Cudgeon's neck. The acting commander, soon to be private, sank like a stone. Foley rubbed his neck. Nice shot, Commander. I don't know what you're talking about. Total accident. Forgot all about the fake finger. There are several precedents, I believe. Oh, absolutely. Unfortunately, Cudgeon will be unconscious for several hours. By the time he awakens, all the excitement will be over. Shame. Root allowed himself a fleeting grin, then it was back to business. Is gold here? Yes, they just inserted it. Good. He called to Cudgeon's sheepish troops. Get it loaded onto a hover trolley. Send it in. Any trouble, I'll feed you your wings. Understood? No one actually replied, but it was understood, no doubt about it. Good, now hop to it. Root disappeared into the operations shuttle, Foley clopping behind him. The commander shut the door firmly. Is it armed? The center flicked a few important-looking switches on the main console. It is now. I want it launched as soon as possible. He glanced through the laser-proof refractor glass. We're down to minutes here. I see sunlight poking through. Foley bent to his keyboard in earnest. The magic's breaking up. In 15 minutes we're going to be in the middle of an overground daytime. The neutrino streams are losing their integrity. I see, said Root, which was basically a lie again. Okay, I don't see, but I do get the 15-minute bit. That gives you 10 minutes to get Captain Short out of there.
After that, we're going to be sitting ducks for the entire human race.
Foley activated yet another camera. This one was linked to the hover trolley. He ran a finger experimentally across the trackpad. The trolley shot forward, almost decapitating Chick's Verbal.
Nice driving, muttered Root. Will we get up the steps?
Foley didn't even look up from his computers. Automatic clearance compensator, 5-foot collar, no problems. Root spared him a glare.
You do that just to annoy me, don't you?
Foley shrugged his shoulders. I might.
Yes, well, count yourself lucky my other fingers aren't loaded. Get my meaning?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now let's bring Captain Short home.
Holly hovered beneath the portico. Orange shards of light striped the blue. The time stop was breaking up. There were only minutes left before Root blue-rinsed the whole place. Foley's voice buzzed in her earpiece.
Okay, Captain Short, gold's on its way. Be ready to move.
We don't bargain with kidnappers, said Holly, surprised. What's going on here?
Nothing, replied Foley casually. Straightforward exchange. Gold goes in, you come out. We send in the missile, big blue bang, and it's all over.
Does Fowl know about the biobomb?
Yep, knows all about it.
Claims he can escape.
That's impossible.
Correct.
But they'll be killed.
Big deal, reported Foley, and Holly could almost see him shrug.
That's what you get when you mess with the people.
Holly was torn. There was no doubt that Fowl was a danger to the civilized underworld. Very few tears would be shed over his body, but the girl, Juliet, she was an innocent. She deserved a chance. Holly descended to an altitude of 6.5 feet, head height for Butler. The humans had congregated in the wreckage that used to be a hallway. There was a disunity between them. The LEP officer could sense it. Holly glared accusingly at Artemis.
Have you told them?
Artemis returned her stare. Told them what?
Yes, Fairy. What about?
Echoed Juliet belligerently, still a bit miffed over the mesmerizing.
Don't play dumb, Fowl. You know what I'm talking about.
Artemis could never play dumb for long. Yes, Captain Short, I do. The biobomb. Your concern would be touching if it extended to myself. Nevertheless, do not upset yourself. Everything is proceeding according to plan.
According to plan?
Gasped Holly, pointing to the devastation surrounding them.
Was this part of the plan? And Butler, almost getting killed, all part of the plan?
No, Artemis admitted. The troll was a slight blip, but irrelevant to the overall scheme. Holly resisted the urge to punch the pale human again, turning instead to Butler.
Listen to reason, for heaven's sake. You cannot escape the time field. It's never been done.
Butler's features could have been etched in stone.
If Artemis says it can be done, then it can.
But your sister, are you willing to risk the life out of the loyalty to a felon?
Artemis is no felon, miss. He's a genius. Now, please remove yourself from my sightline. I'm monitoring the main entrance.
Holly buzzed up to 20 feet.
You're crazy, all of you. In 5 minutes, you'll all be dust. Don't you realize?
Artemis sighed. You've had your answer, Captain. Now, please. This is a delicate stage in the proceedings.
Proceedings? It's a kidnapping. At least have the guts to call it what it is.
Artemis' patience was beginning to fray. Butler, do we have any tranquilizer hypodermics left? The giant manservant nodded, but didn't speak. At that precise moment, if the order came to sedate, he wasn't sure if he would or could. Luckily, Artemis' attention was diverted by activity on the venue. Ah, it would seem that the LEP have capitulated. Butler, supervise the delivery, but stay alert. Our fairy friends are not above trickery.
You're a fine one to talk, muttered Holly.
Butler hurried to the demolished doorway, checking the load and the catch on his Sig Sauer 9mm. He was almost grateful for some military activity to distract him from his dilemma. In situations like these, training took over. There was no room for sentiment. A fine haze of dust still hung in the air. Butler squinted through it at the avenue beyond. The fairy filters rigged over his eyes revealed that there were no warm bodies approaching. There was, however, a large trolley seemingly driving itself up to the front door. It was floating on a cushion of shimmering air. Doubtless Master Artemis would have understood the physics of the machine. All Butler cared about was whether or not he could disable it. The trolley bumped into the first step. And that's where we're going to end tonight. We will continue with our Chapter 9 tomorrow. Have a good evening.